Good afternoon from here. I am live again with Seun Kuti, and we are looking again with the torchlight our Africa indigenous faith and threats to it by contemporary foreign religions that we now have in Africa. And Seun Kuti is somebody who is maybe we should start from there. I don't even know what to practice. Good afternoon. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Seun Kuti is actually on motion, so let's just let's bear with it. So we are talking about African indigenous faith. How much of it do you see people still practicing in Africa, and do you see
Well,
it still extending
people
to the
don't,
future?
in terms of faith, you have to, the interesting thing about how Christianity and Islam is practiced in Africa is that it is not like it's practiced in most other places in the world. So, for example, if you go to an American Baptist church, American Pentecostal church, or a British church, the white churches, you don't hear them preaching against Zeus. Like, oh, people worshiping Zeus, the principality of Jupiter and Athena. We have to fight the Mercury. They don't discuss their God because nobody believes in them anymore.
Network, oh, leave Seun for me,
The Lord
oh,
network, somebody
leave Seun.
called me. I don't know. Someone called. I've got it.
Okay.
So in terms of Africa is different because we tend to still insert African gods, even though they are the villains now. Oh, you pray against principalities, they could do juju for you and all those kind of things, fighting against people in your village, causing you with some African power. So they still believe in the system. People just don't practice it. Unlike gods that are dead completely. Jesus has killed all those ones. So you can't go anywhere in Europe and you see where things Zeus or see where they are worshiping Jupiter, worshiping any of their old gods. Because Jesus and Muhammad are still all those ones. But in Africa, for some reason, our own still survive. And as Futuri, I think it was Futuri that said it. No. I think it was Futuri that said it. It was what's his name? This his partner was that started Negritude. Of course, is this Hope Leopold Senghor of Senegal? Yes, that's the Negritude man. Leopold Senghor was the one that said Africa are 50% Christian, 50% Muslims, 100% African religious. So I believe that still holds true to today, regardless. But it's just that people don't openly admit. Some people don't openly admit to practicing. Some practice, but most believe. They believe that it exists.
So what do you practice, Seun?
Me? Well, me,
Yeah.
I believe more in the African spiritual system, in the practical essence of it. Many people believe that they see African spiritual system as a bodyguard service. That if somebody annoys you, just go and send Shango to go and kill the person. If somebody, if you don't like somebody, just go and tell Ogun. Ogun will leave everything he's doing, carry his hatchet, go to the person's house and kill the person for you. You're looking for money, to go and carry money and bring for you, or you have to bring somebody's head in return. All these fairy tales. But the African spiritual
Are you
system,
saying these things are actually not true?
they're not.
So you can't send Ogun to go and do something to somebody. Do you know, for instance, when there is suspicion about people, suspicion about anyone who has stolen anything, they will say, swear by this thing that Ogun should do this if you are the person who actually
Yes,
committed it.
yes, oath taking is a natural law. In the presence of in the presence of in the presence of the gods, take an oath. That is you sending anybody on an errand. It is you taking an oath and calling on the laws of nature to judge you if you are right or wrong, and that's a very powerful thing.
Okay. So talking about worship, you know,
Even amongst friends,
what
even amongst friends, amongst partners, if human beings, because in the world today, let me just extend it further. In the world today, people don't really respect the word anymore. You know, that's why since the Europeans brought contract, so you have to sign. If you don't see, but if you have not signed this contract, then you didn't commit to something, even if you have given your word. People have now forgotten the power of giving their word. But nature hasn't forgotten. So when you give your word to someone, it is a bond that you yourself you do not see. And if you break that bond, this is not about African gods or whatever. It's a spiritual essence to our word to one another in solemn promise. Very important.
so talking about worship, the system, the idea of creating symbols or casting something that resembles certain deities to worship has been described as idolation, like worshiping idol, and is said to be wrong or a sin against God. What is your view about that?
Well, religion has its law. So I don't really see, for me as an African myself, I respect the fact that gods have to look like me. Whatever I believe in must also believe in me. You know, whatever any other religion says is in some pocket. The uh, society today is that we allow outsiders to dictate to us who or what our God and that it must not look like. Because today in 2020, I mean, everybody in the world knows that Jesus Christ was.
Was what?
I mean, there are no was black now. People
Okay.
in the area of Bethlehem was born. 2,000 years ago, white people did not live there. There were
Yeah.
bronze, black, and brown people that lived. And so if Jesus Christ was from there, there's no way he can have blonde hair, blue eyes, and white skin. It's absolutely impossible. So that means Europeans themselves understand the importance of having a God that looks like them. That they are willing to change the image of the person to look more. In fact, most people draw as Jesus Christ is an actor that played the role.
True
I've
that.
forgotten his name now. One English actor.
Michael
It's what
something
everybody
else.
had in their house. Everybody had him in their house, and you
I
know.
call him Jesus.
So, it is for me what we as African people must. It's not my business what other people say. You know, it's what we accept. Many other people all over the world have accepted Christianity too. They are not Africans, and many people have modified it to make sure that it feels more like what they understand. That's why even in Nigeria we have Select Church and Cherubim and Seraph. This is also the African interpretation, and if the Africans don't embrace it as they'll be looking down at celestial people. You know, you know. Uh, uh,
How many
for
things do you
me,
believe? Uh, how many things do you believe that spiritualism should entail. Like for instance, if I'm a Christian, my spiritualism should affect my maybe dressing, my language, my attitude, my direction, and how many things, and what do you think spiritualism or practicing a faith should
The
exclude?
oldest church,
And
the
that has
oldest
nothing to
church in
do
the
with it.
world, the oldest world is the Coptic Church.
Is the what?
Is the Coptic Church in Ethiopia.
Okay, yeah.
So, but Africans are not Coptics, right? Why are we
Yeah.
not following the Christianity whose Vatican is in Ethiopia and in Africa, and the saints are black and all the angels are black, and this church is before the Vatican, but we believe more in the
Excuse
Vatican.
me.
I think it more has to do with our colonial mindset also, and how Christianity and Islam has been given to us. Yeah. Definitely, your religion should decide your worldview.
Hmm.
Your religion decides your worldview. Decides what you should wear, how you should wear it, and all the things. Look at a lot of Islamic societies. Look at how the women are made to dress and men are made to dress and things like that. So look at a place like Afghanistan, for example, that is
Yeah.
theological, the theocracy, where the letter of word of the religion is the word of is the law. So I think, yeah, that's definitely true. And it's one of the reasons why Africans don't move like Africans, because we don't really have an African worldview from our own religious perspective. But for me, let me just say this: what a man worships and how he prays or whatever should not determine the his political affinity, solidarity, or consciousness. Malcolm X was a Muslim, was an imam. Martin Luther King was a priest. Marcus Garvey was a staunch Catholic. Sorry, staunch Baptist Christian man. So religion should never be the basis of somebody's political affinity, solidarity, or conscience. How you want to pray and connect with the universe, I feel it's truly personal. And we do ourselves a great disservice as man to always make it a point of topic or discussion. You know, especially when we use it to negate our political responsibilities.
So religion and law. Religion. Let me put it this way: religion, morality, law, and let's say appearance, our dressing, mode of dressing. For instance, in Africa, a lot of people who are Muslims will dress like the Arabians. And as a result, too, if you go to the north, they also adopt Sharia, and they also imbibe some cultural things from Saudi Arabia, but they are Africans.
Of course, of course.
Yes, yes. So it is from that background I asked that question whether
Oh,
religion
okay,
should
definitely.
dictate.
That's what I was saying, that your religion definitely affects your worldview. There's no way you can be serving a certain God, but not understanding, not how would I put it, adopting the ways of the culture that brought that God about.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, definitely many Africans mistake the cultural morals of outsiders as what is good or bad. You know, without
Because
genuinely
they
question.
Yeah,
You know,
because they imported it alongside with the religion.
exactly. You know, so I mean, in Africa,
Now
for example,
let me okay.
dress
I want
African
us to come
women,
to
for
Africa.
example,
Yes.
African women, for example, before we became Christians or Muslims, you know, we did not see nakedness as immoral in Africa. To see the human body, to see women wearing nothing and walking around, and this did not put them in any kind of danger because the Africans do not objectify. Our religious system do not objectify the woman, the female form sexually. So our worldview did not see a naked woman as somebody that is asking for something. It was a natural state, but it's different now. You understand? So
Mm.
those kind of things we must see we must see it for what it is. In the world today, the more European and Arabic we are in our worldview, the more of their own, um, how would I put it, cultural malaise we imbibe into our own psyche as well. And it comes to dominate. So it also removes it removes the power, right, of the connection that you have to your land and your, you know. So you find Africans who are Africans but do not like each other because one is a Christian and one is a Muslim. You understand?
Now let me ask, when you come to African traditional setting, some people are into some cults or initiations called awo, and then they will wear certain types of dress. Some will even specify color, maybe for instance white, pure white, just maybe to symbolize anything, maybe about purity or whatever. So now, is there any spiritual connection between what we wear and how we commune spiritually, maybe with the God we worship? Is there any connection, or we are just symbolizing?
It's symbols. They are symbols, we're definitely symbolizing. Even if you look at what the Egunguns wear, for example, and come out, and these are symbols of images that we believe that relate with our spiritual psyche. You
We can't see your
understand?
face again. Yeah.
Yes, you know what? Should we do this again because my battery is dying? Do you have a Type C?
Oh, sorry about
Yeah, lucky.
yeah, so just plug it in. Yeah.
All right. It's back. Yeah, I think that is mostly it. In terms of spirituality, talking about it is also a way of people don't become rational in their point of view of looking at things. So no matter what, there's practicality to spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way African gods would have inspired Awos, people that are Abalawo, to come up with dressing that have fur and leather jackets and jeans and boots. It's impossible because heat go kill them where they are doing the ceremony. So no matter what
Hmm.
happens, they could be inspired to just dress loosely, make air free flow, tie wrapper, hang something small for neck. So everything is still part of the symbolic, you know, because symbolism, you have to understand, played a big role in the forming of the world and civilizations, you know. And even when they say that Africans did not have writing was in different form where they didn't want to use words. So a king might want to send you to another king. He's not going to tell you what he wants to say to the king. Give stone. want this thing, see this is say show it to that person. When you get there and you show it to that person, immediately the person understands the message. You know, you mustn't until it's written A, B, C, D, E that people can write, but say, oh, Africans did not write. No, Africans did not, we did not, how would I put it, we did not despiritualize the word, you know. The word was still important, you know. So,
Now, talking about ritual practice is part of the reasons, part of the excuses given for people to start, departing from their or not wanting to identify with their indigenous African faith. Talking about ritual practices, what do you know about ritual practices, and what do you think about ritualism
every,
in general?
every, society,
Ritual
every
practice.
society has every society has its ritual practices. You know, one of the great propaganda against Africa is this noise about human sacrifice, and Africans used to use humans to work. Listen, in this world till today, Europeans are still serving people up, you know, to the god in the name of death sentence. You know, they
Hmm.
hang them, they gas them, they electrocute them. They kill people every day in the West, in their prisons, in the name of law and order, justice. Africa did not have penal code, prison system. You know, we believe in the salvation of every person. You know, so we will not lock you and humanize you inside a hole. You know, but there were certain people in our society too, with their own too much. You know, and those kind of people were used, as you can call it a death sentence, basically. You know, but everybody suddenly is acting as if, oh, it's only the African societal system that led to the killing of people. No, and today people are killed for so many other reasons, you know, that didn't exist in Africa. You know, imagine armed robbery, the amount of people that being killed in this system, by terrorists and all these so-called bandits and all of that.
Bandits.
I mean, is it the African system that is killing all these people now? You know, are we not under another system? Why are people still dying in these large numbers? You know, but regardless, yes, let's point the evil finger at the African religious. Oh, you are doing human sacrifice. Yes, Europeans too are sacrificing people every day in the name of death sentence, and nobody is complaining about that.
Is that a
Just like
justification
Islam.
for
Islam,
for human
Islam
sacrifice?
prescribes. Yes, but it's the death sentence. There are things people do in this world. I repeat, I personally do not support the death sentence. I'm just saying it's not as crazy and outrageous as people are making it seem. You know, in Saudi Arabia, they stone people to death, fam.
True that.
Exactly. So, what we should ask: what kind of people are being sacrificed? Are you just going to be sleeping in your house? You didn't do anything wrong, and they just come and knock on your door. Yeah, come, want to sacrifice you to the God. Come on, you know. So, I mean, I'm just not as outraged. Is what I'm saying about human sacrifice, because I know that every system in the world sacrifices people to its system. You have to sacrifice people to your
Hmm.
system. It is how it is, you know. But we are looking for a world that will change that system. We are moving forward in different ways. Africans themselves, one of the interesting things that we don't discuss in our own um, African history is the interruption of our development in Africa. The internal civil wars being fought by the have-nots against the haves in Africa. All over Africa, these wars were springing up where people were attacking the monarchy and demanding a better system. This is what the Europeans interrupted and connived with some evil monarchs to stop. But Africans will
Hmm.
rise again and demand that system. We'll go back to that question. You know, it is not a forgotten question. You know, just because we are not made to remember that question. So I believe firmly that I'm from that class of Africans that is still looking at that African Renaissance, that our movement in a new direction, you know, away from the monarchy and the powerful and the haves, you know, to a world that is more equitable to its people. You know. So that is
So what do you
that is truly in essence what the African spiritual system is about. You know,
what's your view about using maybe items or objects to represent God? I mean, is it normal, or is it okay or justifiable that you just put an item somewhere and you believe it has spiritual significance, when in essence spiritualism should not necessarily be connected with any particular object? For instance, anybody could just be away from home, and like for instance, you are not in Nigeria, you are abroad, but you are still spiritual where you are. Must there be an object somewhere that represents your spiritualism? Maybe like a
there's a
deity or some.
spiritualism. There's a big essence of spirituality that is contact, right? So one of the um, great um, uh, one of the great trick of the Abrahamic God is that he's the first God that became mobile. So back in the day, when you are attacked and they get to your temple, which is your point of contact with your God, and they destroy that temple, they have destroyed your God. You've lost. That God doesn't
Hmm,
come back again.
hmm,
But the Jewish God was the first God that, he destroyed this temple, they will carry him for years. Say, yeah, he will go to another place, start him again there. You, so, that was what was really innovative, about the Abrahamic religious system. The mobility that their God can be everywhere, you know. But most traditional systems, your God, also is your essence, your root, where you are from. So even in personal homes in Africa, where their shrines were that starting point of their home. So this is not just a statue, it's not just an idol. People don't understand the what goes behind erecting a shrine from the starting point of your ancestor. It is the first step that our people took in this land. This is where we originated. This is that point, that contact, how we reach our ancestors. Because for Africans, time was cyclical, you know. So that's why Africans did not fear death. We knew that we went and we continue to live in our children. And we are also something that dropped from our ancestors that came before us, you know. So we revered the past, and honored the future. That was the African spiritual system, basically. The cycle of life, and everything had a spirit and his own essence. So a tree is not just a tree. You can't just go and cut it down. You know, it had earned its right to be on earth, just as you have earned your right to be on earth. For that tree to be cut down, there must be a reason that not benefits you personally, but earth, because everybody is here to make earth better. You know, so one of the great ways that Africans conserve things was by designating them to the gods. Igbo Fari, Igbo Elere, you cannot go there, you cannot go there. They say it's primitive. But, okay, today now they've cut down all the trees. They've done everything. And the same people that told you that it is primitive to preserve the trees, to respect the trees. It is primitive to respect the river. It is primitive to respect the oceans. They are not the ones shouting conservation. Oh, we need to be, we need to save the trees. Oh, the oceans. Oh, we need to respect the rivers. Oh, don't pollute this. Oh, don't pollute. The same. So when we were
Climate
saying
change,
it,
oh.
when we were saying it ago, 400 years ago, they said it was savage and primitive. So now, 500 years later, they are shouting the same thing. So who was primitive? Who is the primitive? What is it that Africans knew this ago about the environment that Europeans are knowing now? What spiritual and religious system brought Africans to that knowledge that Europeans are just knowing now, with all the science, so-called science that they say that they have? You know,
Okay, so the role of ancestors. Let's talk about the role of ancestors in our spiritual life and essence. Sometimes are we do you let me start by asking whether you believe people can communicate with their ancestors or ghosts of dead
You can't
persons?
communicate with the ancestors. The ancestors communicate with you.
Okay, but there's a communication.
If you are grounded in your essence, yes, but what is communication? Is communication only by words? Do you,
No.
you believe in your intuition? Do you believe in how you feel? Have you tried to go somewhere before and you know in your heart, man, I shouldn't, something tells you, don't go there. You didn't hear a word. Feel it in the core of your soul. You know,
Yeah.
communication is in different things. You know, it's in different
And you
forms.
feel
I'm sorry.
those come from the ancestors or directly
Yes,
from
and
the god? Network. Come on. We'll have him back. Can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay, we lost the line for some seconds, so I didn't hear the last set of things you said. You were talking
okay. I
about
was saying
communication,
that,
intonation. Yeah.
yeah, I was saying most of the time, we don't have people so distracted from their own true essence that they can't even hear themselves thinking. Most people live in self-destructive states, you know, because many of us as self-destruction is what has to. I've analyzed this before, you know, so it's only among us as African people all over the world that freedom means drinking too much, eating too much, talking to your elders anyhow, misbehaving, thinking you can do anything. That is freedom, you know, but we don't have freedom. We don't have good school, good hospital. You don't have the freedom to pass and read your book and pass your test. It's only a lecturer you want to practice. So their understanding of, you know, in Africa is a bit, how would I put it? How would I put it is warped. That's the word that you have. It's warped, and it's warped by the propaganda, you know, of the ruling elite, you know, who do not want us to really understand, you know, what true spirituality means. Because spirituality is also attached to divine justice, right? And there's nothing that scares the African elite than justice. So they rather embrace a religion that removes justice from the hands of man. And we know fully well that man is the instrument of the justice of the. It's only through man that God makes justice in this world. Justice is in this world. There's no afterlife justice. So we live in a perpetual state where people harm people, destroy people, but avoid justice, religion. So this spirituality I'm talking about, you know, it is the connection of you when you find connection between you and everything. That connection in true spirituality also manifests itself politically as solidarity. So without true spiritual, right, that's why contact is necessary. It doesn't have to be an idol, shigidi. It can be a gathering of the people, demanding political change. That's the spiritual moment. So you see, but when you are a religion that is constantly everybody around you is your enemy. accept the people that are really your enemy. You see? So you can't go to any church where they are telling you that imperialists are your enemy, or is your enemy, or the big men of Nigeria that are destroying your country are your enemies. No, it's your friends, your neighbors, your wife, your husband, your in-laws, your cousins in the village, the people that you can access and build solidarity with, that will that will develop that spiritual essence of divine justice that they are afraid of. You understand? So religion is a game. So many people are in tune with that, and it has disconnected them from being able to receive their own message directly, spiritually. You know, people believe in miracles. You know, miracle is magic. So it's true. There's nothing miraculous about nature except nature itself. You know. There's
Nothing is
nothing
miraculous
miraculous
about
about
nature
nature
except nature itself.
itself. So nature cannot give you any miracle and sing you out. So all this religion, all it does is create all this that God now do me that you have prayed because the plan that God that this God has been planning for thousands of years will not suddenly change because of you. You are so special. Or among everybody, you are the special anointed one that got the vision. This God that doesn't like to tell everybody their message. He has to pick one special person, you know, and they can just also be sitting in your house and not do anything, and he just come and still give you wealth and riches and wisdom that will make you greater than everybody, and richer than everybody, and more powerful than everybody. You know, so this is what is the ideology that they want to permeate society, that we should look up to the special Africans, these Africans that God has blessed to be better than everybody else, so that greatness, you know, and our greatness truly lies in the fact that in the true African spiritual system, nobody is greater than anybody else. You are not greater than anybody else, and that gives you solace because you know that nobody else is greater than you. In the eyes of the Creator, in the eyes of Olodumare, in the eyes of the Orishas that hold this planet together, nobody is greater than anybody else. Nobody is more important than anybody else, and no favor is given. No favor.
So why then do we do spiritualism? Why do we need it if we don't get favor from it, if we don't get benefits from it? Why do we do it?
It is to strengthen humanity, because in true spirituality, you are connected to all. You see yourself in everybody because you are a mirror of everything. When you see the rivers, you same respect you give yourself. You personalize. That's why we have gods, the river, God of the tree, God of this one, God, because we personalize them. We give them human rights, basically. What we call human rights today is what we give to the human, to nature, because we are, and you give that same respect to yourselves, you know, because today we believe that we are so violent in Africa. We don't understand that what is creating violence in Africa today is scarcity. The scarcity of what we need. People are living in scarcity, so there must be conflict. And tell me that Africans have fought continental war before, where the whole of the continent of Africa is storm of world war. They fought continental war for 500 years. You understand? So what is it about our true spiritual self and ground that has made the African, you know, than his European neighbor. We must ask ourselves this question. We just throw the baby out with the water. You know, I do not believe that everything must be done as used to be done. Because that is not being cultural. Journalists do not really believe in culture. They just believe in preserving power. But true culture, you are a true Pan-Africanist than culture. Culture means must also have self-evaluation. Self-evaluation. What is it about our culture that makes us strong? What is it about that is current and in tune with the times? What is it about our that cannot move forward? These things have to be scrutinized. Culture is not stagnant. Yeah.
So let me ask you one last question for now, because you have to get to where you're going almost.
Thank you.
Very
You have
quickly.
finished my gig.
Don't worry, we'll do something about that one. So one last question for now is: do you believe in the concept or the idea that universally God is only one, but that
No, there's no God in that
access God?
concept. There's no God. There's no God that we people in Christianity and Islam.
Say that again.
God, the concept that Islam believe.
There is no such concept of God in the way Christians and Muslims believe or codified it, right?
Yeah,
You mean what they are claiming is not real? Is wow, network.
What did you say?
Man. Yes, I was trying to get to interpret what you said. That what they claim is not correct or does not exist, right? The network is breaking from where you are.
Yes.
I guess some calls are trying to call it. Yeah. Wow. Is on motion. Wow. Wow. I guess it got to a point. I can see the network bar here from its device is out. Okay, gentlemen and ladies, let's just temporarily just end it here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And I do not understand the message of this first person in the chat. Explore with Clavia, and he sent a super chat of 50 USD. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But I do not understand the message attached. It said fan character jumping in the air in front of a big red heart with pom pom in their hands. I do not understand it, but I appreciate so much the super sticker. Thank you so much. Yes, we will try to bring Seun back again. Of course, he explained to me he was on the road and going for a program, but we just decided to still do something while it was on the road. So let's just mind. I'm so sorry about um, the poor connection we had, because it's on motion and all that. But I hope we got something from it, and I want to appreciate everybody that stayed. Definitely bring him back and explore this topic further. Gigi Awo Oshun. Hey, I guess you really enjoyed that discussion, right? Okay. We'll definitely expand this. We'll bring Seun up another time, and we'll still explore this topic further. Thank you so much, everybody. I got to later, but this is an important message. If you are one of those who are asking questions about the Quantum Bricks Estate deal, Nigeria's first 100% off-grid estate built with bricks in Nigeria at Ibejuleki, near Dangote Petrochemical, is very affordable, and it's a very big opportunity to a lot of people looking to own apartments, even if you don't want to live there, but you want to own apartments there, maybe for rent. It's a good business idea, even though it is meant for completely residential. But you can own it if you don't want to live in there right now. You can just still rent it out for now because a lot of business executives and expatriates coming to that area are going to need accommodation. So I wanted to key into it, but this is the information. The prices are going up from this. I think it has already gone up by about 15%. Aha, and then the slots are filling out very fast. So you will have to, excuse me. So you will have to go to www.abhomes.com, and you might as well still reach out to me personally for more information or contacts of the engineers in site and the marketing executive, so that you can still find slots there. It's still filling out very fast, and then invest your money here because that is the future of business hub in Africa. Okay, and it's an apartment. It's an apartment. They will. It's not just an apartment. It's a complete home solution that they will build it for you by themselves. You choose the type you want, whether you want 3 bed or 4 bed. It's a it's a story building, and it is not far from the beachfront, the Atlantic beachfront. So it's a complete package. It also comes with major appliances pre-installed. Your AC, washing machine, gas, all of those things are already pre-installed, and it's cheaper, and it's also stronger, fireproof, because it's made with well-researched laterite bricks. You know, so it's a very strong project, and people are keying in fast. So if you are looking to to purchase it, reach out to them. www.abbey is Habbey. H starts the Abbey, so it's not ABB. It's Habbey. Homes.com. Then, if you want further information, if you have my contact, you can reach out to me. Okay, I'll give you every other details you need. But look at the information here.
Please meet
I'll see
Mr.
you another
Abiodun
time.
Akinyemi, a man who is looking to solve the big chunk of the housing crisis that we have in Nigeria by making affordable, self-sufficient homes. This kind of homes are becoming more and more popular, by the way, because they are efficient and they are environmentally friendly, and then it costs less to make them if you think about it in long run. Anyway, before you about the smart homes that he's building, let me tell you a little bit about his story. He's based in Canada right now, and he decided to build a house in Lagos, Nigeria, where he's from. But upon making inquiries, the cost of building a house has increased significantly since he moved to Canada. So instead of using concrete brick throughout his construction, he substituted it with laterite, and he was able to save 30% of the construction cost. Laterite has a lot of advantages, by the way, including warming your home during the cold weather, cooling your home in the hot season. It's cheaper because it's readily available. It's everywhere in Nigeria. It has high clay content, which means it can hold more water. Laterite gives you better air quality. So if you build your house with laterite, you can breathe in better air quality. You can even recycle it. So if you build a house with laterite and you don't like it, you can break down the house and use the brick to build another house. And that's just to name a few of the advantages. But he didn't stop at building his personal house. He decided to make his house self-sufficient, off-grid, which means that he's not going to be dependent on the electricity from the Nigerian government. So he's using solar power, and he's also not going to be using power generator, so there will be no noise, no air pollution. At the same time, he's not using the regular sockaway that everybody uses in Nigeria. He's disposing his own waste material by decomposing it, and he's generating his own water. So once the house is completed, he doesn't need anything from them. And this is why they call this home self-sufficient, off-grid homes. That alone inspires me. The fact that he was able to find an alternative to just spending so much money on building a house. And the fact that he doesn't have to depend on the government, he made himself a self-sufficient house. That is the inspiration for me. But then he took it a step further. So after learning from his own experience, he wants to do the same for others, except that he wants to do it better. If you see the picture of the house, you may not be too impressed by the aesthetic, but he calls this the experimental house because what he has decided to do is to now mass produce this kind of house for other people. In case anybody out there is interested in having a house that will be self-sufficient, he has bought acres of land in Lakwe beachfront in order to construct an off-grid estate. And what you guys are seeing is what he would be constructing. All these houses would not be using NEPA, and they will be constructed with laterite bricks, If anyone is interested, he's looking for 10 people, just 10 people to start out. The price starts at 34 million naira for 3 bedrooms, and you can pay in installments. He has a contract readily available, readily prepared, which you can share with your lawyer to know if that's a good deal or not. I mean, some people may feel like that's a lot of money, but it's a one-time payment that you no longer have to worry about electricity bill. You no longer have to worry about paying them to empty your sock away and stuff like that. It's a one-time payment that you know that from beginning to end, you know your house is complete and self-sufficient. Anyway, I asked him, by the way, I said, what if someone is interested right now and they decided to pay you, and along the way they decided they're no longer interested, they don't like what they are seeing? And he said to me that your money is refundable, as stated in the contract. He said he will give you back 95% of the money, and the remaining 5% is for administrative charges. He's using a system of interlocking bricks instead of the traditional style of construction, and this system results in a house that is 10 times stronger than traditionally built house, and also more terminally efficient. Each home would have its own fire system and will be conveniently located by a fire hydrant in order to make it easier for fire crews to help just in case of an emergency. We'll be building common areas that will have a gym, a playground, swimming pool, ball courts, grocery stores, and so on and so forth. And more importantly, the houses in his estate will reduce global warming and human carbon footprint. So guys, if you're interested, please check him out. This is his website.